Hi, my name is Bear, and let's start with Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. This is one of my favorite games I have ever played. Yeah, I am a fan of Star Wars, and my whole childhood I dreamed of becoming a Sith. So I could teach people I don't like a lesson. A lesson of... From all Souls-like games, Fallen Order had the most satisfying combat I've seen since the times of the third Witcher, and I probably liked it so much because it reminded me of those sword dances I did as a Geralt. The game started slow, but the more I played, the more powerful I got. You know, skills like running on walls or throwing spinning lightsaber into a bunch of puny enemies are not given to you all at once. At the beginning you suck as a Jedi, even some random rat can kill you if you are not careful enough. So I died a lot. But later I became a real combat god because I discovered a story mode difficulty. Yeah, this is a Souls-like game even noobs like me can enjoy. Observation. This is a sci-fi thriller where you will have to uncover what happened to the crew of the space station through the lens of artificial intelligence. You will assume the role of AI by operating the station's control systems, cameras, and tools. The game is blending narrative adventure, puzzles, exploration, and cosmic existential horror. You will uncover the true nature of yourself, your crew, and the mysterious, always present hexagon on Saturn. The story, horror atmosphere, and music is great, but the game can be a buggy mess if your gaming setup is slightly out of the ordinary. Also, people on Steam are recommending playing it with a gamepad. But in general, it seems that Observation is a great deal for the fans of 2001: A Space Odyssey and Solaris movies. I will say probably blasphemy that I liked Solaris with George Clooney way more than that Soviet film with Donatas Banionis as the main protagonist. Assassin's Creed Origins. Ancient Egypt, a land of majesty and intrigue, is disappearing in a ruthless fight for power. Ye will unveil dark secrets and forgotten myths as you go back to one founding moment, the origins of Assassin's Brotherhood. People are talking that this is one of the best Assassin's Creed games they have ever played. It has a great combat system, almost no bugs, and only bad comments are from grumpy old dudes who can't cope with the fact that this is now a role-playing game. Although I must admit that if you are not a fan of an ancient Egypt, this setting can seem a bit boring. Some settings are really overused and not interesting anymore. You know, like Egyptian, ancient Greek, Viking, or Latvian mythology. You know, especially the Latvian one with all that Lachplesis and Zirga Galva everywhere you go. Desperados 3. You can kill quietly with a knife or take out multiple foes with your revolvers. I especially like the knife part. It somehow feels more personal and, of course, requires more skill. Scenarios Desperados presents are far from cliché. Situations are quite original but also familiar with a nice vibe of Wild West. I say vibe because here you will fight not only in small frontier towns, but also in creepy swamps, riverbanks, and even in sprawling modern cities. You can choose between non-lethal and deadly attacks, meaning that you can finish the game without killing anyone. I have no idea why you may do that, it's boring. I live my real life without killing anyone. Why should I do the same where I am allowed to snap a neck or two? Anyway, Desperados 3 is like an old good Commandos game, but modern with amazing visuals and great quality overall. Ghostwire Tokyo. Here the city is overrun by deadly supernatural forces after 99% of the population just vanished, so you will use a powerful arsenal of spectral abilities to fight the paranormal threat and unravel the mystery behind the mass disappearance. It may sound and look a bit like a horror game, but the main emphasis is not on the horror, rather on the fast-paced gameplay where you use your powerful abilities and can fight various ghosts like a true Ghostbuster, or more like a Ghost Eliminator, because you kill them.
How can you kill somebody who's already dead?
Oh, shut up, it's not a science game. And seriously, the game has a rating that allows 12-year-olds to play, so grow your mental balls and dive in. Prey. The game has a really cool story that has you playing as a scientist exploring a place infested by an alien life form. Yeah, I bet you heard that somewhere. A few dozen, 100 million times. Despite that, aliens are really nice here. Well, by saying nice, I mean that they are the opposite of nice. You wouldn't want to chat with them about video games or best beer kinds in the universe or, you know, the best recipe for potato salad. No, they are terrifying creatures. Although, as I always say, not as terrifying as people who put pineapple in potato salad. Those are the worst. Just imagine this space station filled with them. Prey is a thriller, but that tiny change would make it one of the scariest horror games games ever. So anyway, Prey gives you a variety of weapons to use along with superpowers like telepathy or the ability to trick enemies by turning yourself into everyday items. Yeah, it may sound like nonsense, but it's not. You can truly acquire alien abilities and use them by stopping time or turning yourself into a bottle of beer, and then you can roll around like crazy. Not suspicious at all. Well, this ability of turning yourself into a stuff could probably spice up the love life of you and your wife or imaginary girlfriend. I don't judge. But first you have to defeat the space evil and escape from the space station alive, and with all the parts intact needed for, you know, spiciness. Bendy and the Ink Machine. This is a first-person puzzle action horror game that begins in the far days past of animation and ends in the very dark future. You will play as Henry as he revisits the demons of his past by exploring the abandoned animator's workshop. With twists and turns around every corner, this game is sure to thrill you. It will play with your childhood memories and will try to make casual fun things into a horror-ish nightmare. You'll never look at cartoons the same way again. The first chapter sets the tone for the adventure ahead. Solve the riddle, escape the workshop. Above all, fear the machine and survive. Dishonored: Death of the Outsider. Here you are, a supernatural assassin with one important mission. You have to kill a godlike figure called the Outsider. As you can imagine, killing someone who is actually godlike is not an easy job, even for a supernatural assassin. You'll have to journey deep into the underbelly of the city, where you will unravel some of the lost secrets. Along the way, you will infiltrate underground fight clubs and black magic cults, and then retrieve... Yeah, the rest of the game's description is plain spoilers on Steam, avoid reading it. Anyway, as you hunt down the Outsider, you will face off against a new cast of enemies along the way. Armed with your weapons, gadgets and abilities, you will have to take down deadly foes by accepting contracts to find and eliminate optional targets throughout your mission. So you are an actual hitman here, well, hitwoman more accurately, and the game has a very positive review score on Steam, so it's obviously not a bad game. Far Cry 5. Here you will spill rivers of blood and your victims will drown in their own liquids because you are awesome and they suck. Your task is to stand up to cult leader Joseph Seed and his siblings to spark the fires of resistance and liberate the besieged community. In other words, you will have to get rid of fanatics without any political correctness. You can play alone or in two-player co-op in this vast open world. Use a huge arsenal of weapons from rocket launchers to shovels and take control of iconic muscle cars, ATVs, planes and more to engage the cult forces in epic fights. The bad thing is, as always, Ubisoft launcher with all the DRM problems, so it seems like the company treats you like a thief in advance. And paradoxically, you know where you could find the game without DRM? On various pirate sites. They removed it. So what is the point of punishing us, paying customers, when pirates can enjoy the game without any stuff like that? You suck, Ubisoft. Wasteland 3 Colorado Collection. I will say bluntly, if you like tactical turn-based games, this RPG here is a must-play. It's not a recommendation or something, but the law. You must play it if you want to go, you know, to game hell after your death. Anyway, this version of the game includes both the Battle of Steeltown and Cult of the Holy Detonation expansions, as well as the Colorado Survival Gear bonus items. And the game itself is a wonderful gem for all Fallout, Baldur's Gate and all turn-based combat fans. In Wasteland 3 you will travel to the frozen wastes of Colorado to deal with gangs, cults and psychopathic clowns in effort to bring stability to the wastes. Or, you know, as always, even more chaos and even more psychopathic clowns. Yeah, not like in real life, your decisions really matter and the world will change according to your actions and reactions. In Sound Mind. This is a survival horror where you will experience a series of haunting memories. You will take on a journey through a progression of unsettling stories, each with unique puzzles, mechanics, weapons and boss fights. Basically, here you play as a town therapist and dive into the strange worlds of your patients. The game is a bit scary and plays as a psychological thriller. All the levels are unique and all of them hold a certain ominous atmosphere, so it will definitely grow some hair on your mental balls. People on Steam are saying that almost nobody expected the game to be this good for this price, and I totally recommend it for you as well. Dragon Age Inquisition. While we wait for the next part of Dragon Age to be released, let's take a look what the last game in the series had to offer. Let's start with the fact that it wasn't completely oriented to the fans of the Dragon Age franchise and tried to be appealing to a wider audience. That they definitely achieved. Me and my wife, we played the game and we liked it. It was our first experience in the world of Dragon Age and we had tons of fun. My wife even completed it twice. The game was designed to be played using a pause function, but I can't remember ever doing that. I played it in real time all the time and I had fun. Maybe on some boss I pre-planned some moves, but that was about it. It is definitely not a game for a hardcore Dungeons and Dragons fan, more like a nice fantasy title for the masses. It is beautiful, has a nice story and you can own a castle. In my opinion, 8 cold beers out of 10. Just be careful, with it you must install EA Launcher. That is never cool. The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing Final Cut. This is definitely one of the most known action RPGs out there. This version of the game is a collection of 3 standalone episodes told as one continuous story, with 6 playable classes and a new endgame mode with a huge variety of open missions. People on Steam are saying that this is a very addictive game. Not as addictive as potato salad, but there is a huge chance that you will have a lot of great time, although it has some minor problems, lame targeting system and a bit shallow character builds. Also, you may encounter some bugs and glitches along the way as well. But anyway, this game is really entertaining and also huge. The campaign is offering over 50 hours of gameplay. Also, if you are in doubt, you can download a free demo version at first and try it out. Terminator Resistance. I remember seeing a trailer of this game a few years ago and I was like,
Nah, this probably will be a flop.
And I ignored it on my false prejudice for years. Why false? Well, it has more than 90% of positive reviews on Steam. Not too far away from overwhelmingly positive titles, so it's almost a masterpiece. The game is a first-person shooter set during the Future War scenario that was only glimpsed in the first 2 iconic movies. The machines are destined to lose, but at what cost? So basically here you will run and gun or sneak and hack through Skynet's defenses, level up your skills and explore a post-apocalyptic world for scraps to trade and craft, also interact with other survivors and change their fates. People on Steam are saying that this is the real Terminator 3, as it should have been. It contains an amazing atmosphere, also interesting story and developed characters. Most people are recommending to buy it for the full price without any doubts, but boy oh boy, aren't you lucky today? 60% discount is a treat you may want to feast on, that's for sure. Alien Isolation Collection. Recently I played Amnesia the Bunker, which copied the idea of Alien Isolation Monster, and now I have an urge to play Isolation again, which honestly is way bigger and better game than Amnesia the Bunker. Here you are all alone in a giant space station and a sentient monster is hunting you. You have no guns, you are the prey. Sometimes it can take an hour without an encounter, sometimes you can feel it creeping upon you in the vents, sometimes you just die. And this bundle is an amazing deal. The game is absolutely 10 cold beers out of 10 and worth buying even without a discount.
Vampyr.
Guess who are you going to be in this game? A doctor, and I am not even joking. Of course, you will be a vampire here as well. These are difficult times, no one can survive having only one profession. You are not that evil here, but you can choose to kill or rather devour good people and get stronger in the process. You will have to fight against vampire hunters, undead and other supernatural creatures with your own supernatural abilities. People on Steam really enjoy this game's atmosphere, music and voice acting as well. The only thing the game lacks is the freedom. Well, they provide you with many choices, but when you think about it, they don't really matter that much. GRIS. Here you will play as a young girl lost in her own world, dealing with a painful experience in her life. Probably someone put a slice of pineapple in her potato salad, and she can't recover after that.
Oh, the horror.
So as the story unfolds, you will grow emotionally and see the world in a different way, revealing new paths to explore using your new abilities. Here you won't encounter any enemies, there is no danger or death. And just look how beautiful this game is. The art style is absolutely stunning. People on Steam are saying that not only the art, but absolutely everything in this game is great. Music, gameplay, and even the story will leave you gobsmacked. And it's not so hard to believe in those words. Just look at it. There aren't many things that are as beautiful as this game. Well, except boobs. Sorry, GRIS, you lose on this one. Quern, Undying Thoughts. This is a first-person puzzle-adventure game inviting you on a journey to explore the beautiful land and solve many challenges. You'll put your IQ to the test with the increasingly complex puzzles and unravel the mysteries of the island. Remember Myst? So it's quite the same. It is original and solving one or another puzzle is really rewarding, you know, for your ego. People on Steam are saying that Quern is one of the best puzzle games they ever played. It also has more than 90% of positive reviews, and the bad ones are mostly about technical issues. People don't realize that you should check your graphic card drivers all the time. For example, I couldn't even run Elden Ring without updating them. Anyway, this is a great game, really worth your money even when not on a sale. The Last Campfire. This is an adventure, a story of a lost ember trapped in a puzzling place, searching for meaning and a way home. You'll travel deeper into the lands beyond the dark forest and overcome the adversities before you. Discover beautiful wilderness filled with lost inhabitants, strange creatures, and mysterious ruins. 97% of all people who bought this game are recommending it to you. People on Steam are talking that this is a beautiful story-driven game filled with great art and even greater music. The puzzles game throws at you ranges from fairly easy to a medium. Nothing will bend your brains inside out in this game. If you fail here somehow, it's a pure problem of your IQ, I'm sorry. If you are in doubt, you can try the demo version on Steam for free. Just Cause 3. The Mediterranean Republic of Medici is suffering under the control of a dictator with a huge appetite for power. So this is some kind of Mediterranean Belarus, and you have to show them what freedom looks like. And here it looks like death and explosions of dictator's troops and allies. Here you will be given complete vertical freedom. Skydive, base jump, and freedive in an open world the size of 1,000 square kilometers, so you can create chaos in all of this land and have a lot of fun. People on Steam are saying that the game is very fun and has almost zero boring moments. The grappling hook and the wingsuit will help you to fly around and cause havoc, and this experience will keep you entertained for hours. To be exact, about 18 hours of your boring life will be made better by this game. Journey to the Savage Planet. As the newest recruit of Kindred Aerospace, the fourth best interstellar space exploration company, your job is to find out if this planet is suitable for humans. Well, honestly, probably not. Not at all, but you don't know that yet, and yet, here you are. You can play it alone or with a friend. Of course, you probably don't have one, so alone it is. This game may look like it's made for kids, but it's not. It has references of alien drugs and some more adult themes I don't think I can talk about if I want to stay monetized. But people are saying that the game has really great humor, awesome design of animals and plants, and really fun tools to use. Although some of the players are complaining that the game gave them headaches, like real headaches, probably from oversaturated colors and lots of movement, so keep that in mind if you are a bit more sensitive person. The Deadly Tower of Monsters. The game treats itself as a 1970s movie. That is not a joke, that is the whole concept of the game. It is filled with classic themes such as the daughter versus tyrant father, the planet full of innocent ape creatures, the dashing space-age liberator, the robot companion, or the tower full of treacherous mutations. As developers say, a timeless classic for all ages. So in general, this is an action-adventure sci-fi comedy game with dynamic narration set in a retro-futuristic environment. You can play it alone or together with your friends or mother-in-law on a shared or split screen. Game has full controller support and, honestly, full support of your poverty, because the price is more than friendly. SpellForce 3 Fallen God. Well, most strategy and RPG fans know SpellForce games, but it seems that this one is somehow forgotten, and it is a beautiful game. It is an absolutely standalone title. You don't need to play or even know anything about SpellForce at all to enjoy it. The stories are absolutely separated, just like you and your ex right now. I would say that Fallen God is a hybrid between Warcraft 3 and party-based real-time RPGs. You will be traveling around extremely huge maps with your heroes, and from time to time you will have to build a base and attack unsuspecting enemies, pillage their puny villages, and eat their children. Well, maybe not the latter, but who knows, some of your heroes look pretty ravenous, to be honest. BlackSad. This is a gloomy game set in a New York City of the 1950s in a world of anthropomorphic animals. You will play as BlackSad, a private detective, and will have to untangle the secrets of a mysterious disappearance. This sinister case will take you to the darkest, most dismal depths of New York, where you will immerse yourself in a eerily dark adventure. Game is based on comic books, but if you don't know them, it's not a problem. It's probably even better to not have any untimely bias. People on Steam are saying that this is a very interesting game with a satisfying deduction mechanic, probably one of the best among other detective games, although keep in mind that the game is short, it will take you about 9 hours to finish it. Yonder, the Cloudcatcher Chronicles. This title can be really entertaining for those who like farming and crafting games like Stardew Valley, My Time at Portia and similar ones. Although it's not on the same level of quality, it's way shorter and smaller than those aforementioned, but it's really cute and interesting. If you have a hunger for games like that, it may be a good choice. Yonder is a relaxing open-world adventure set in a natural island paradise with 8 distinct environments ranging from tropical beaches to snow-capped summits. But this land is not as perfect as it seems. The mysterious Murg has taken hold of a land, so your task is to
Remove it.
Dreamscaper. This is a beautiful action roguelite game. At first the gameplay is very easy. At least it was when I played the game. I felt no bigger challenge and all the creatures died from my mighty swings without any problems. I was like, hey, I'm really good at this game. The challenge began when I finally met the first boss. And the fight was great, like 10 out of 10 great. And also it was the strongest aspect of this game. But I was kinda surprised that the more I played, the more Souls-like the game got. Easy peasy beginning was a trap. Actually, Dreamscaper is very unforgiving and difficult. I wouldn't mind, but most of the weapons here are slow. You know, like your sister. I felt like I was swinging them through the water or something, and you have to make perfectly timed attacks for critical hits. That is a hard thing to do with slowpoke weapons, but if this isn't a problem for you, then it may be the game for you. It has great art design, visuals, puzzles, and the gameplay is really fun. Rustler. As developers say, they took the inspiration for the Rustler from the Monty Python and first 2 GTA games and made a medieval game out of that. I can remember playing the first part of GTA for hours and hours and skipping school because of it. Never regretted that. Anyway, the Rustler is a humorous approach to the medieval genre. You'll find stuff such as no parking zones for your horse and police horses that have flashing red and blue lights on them. Game is set in an open world and you play as the guy, whose parents apparently were too lazy to give him a proper name. You'll experience feudal justice, Inquisition, witch hunting, and join the grand tournament. Meet incredibly stupid knights, complete a wide variety of twisted missions and quests, or ignore the plot and bring mayhem in the villages and cities. Choose to go on foot or buy a stolen horse, fight with a sword or pick fancy automatic crossbow. All that spiced up with a Monty Python-inspired sense of humor, and you can burn down the whole village as well. Aliens Dark Descent. In this tactical real-time strategy, you will command a squad of hardened colonial marines to stop a terrifying xenomorph outbreak on a distant, unwelcoming planet. You will lead your soldiers in real-time combat against iconic xenomorphs, rogue operatives from devious Wayland Yutani Corporation, and a host of horrifying creatures new to the Alien franchise. So here you are, the commander, and soldiers are your weapon. With their help, you will infiltrate large open levels and annihilate enemies with your squad. Tread carefully as your foes will adapt their tactics to your actions. Monsters will be hunting you down, and the death here is permanent. You know, like the hunger of your cat, or the noises your neighbors make. So if you have a handsome soldier you don't want to lose, you might want to put it behind the others. Although be warned that the aliens can ambush you from behind as well.
Did you say something about behind?
Yeah, he definitely said something about it behind. I heard him.
Oh, shut up. Dark Descent is an original story filled with iconic xenomorph creatures, ranging from facehuggers to Praetorians, alien queens, and many more. Dark Descent has around 90% of positive reviews, and people on Steam are saying that this is the perfect game for Alien Universe fans, and after the isolation, it's probably the best game about xenomorphs. Dead Space. Of course, I'm speaking about the recent remaster of the game, which is a fantastic game just like the original Dead Space, but I can almost assure you that if you played it a long time ago, you won't spot any difference. I completed the first game more than 10 years ago, and when I watched someone play the remastered version, honestly, I couldn't see anything new. Yeah, the graphics now are shiny and beautiful, but it is exactly how I remember the original version, so the remake is a great game on 2 occasions. First, if you want to replay the game, and not because there is a remaster available, but because of the game itself. And second, if you never played it. In that case, I can assure you this is one of the best horror shooter games I ever played. Well, it's more like a thriller with a bunch of jump scares, but the atmosphere is amazing. The surroundings of the space station are made incredibly well, and the necromorphs are really creepy. Be sure that your mental balls are strong and hairy. 10 cold beers out of 10. Bendy and the Dark Revival. The second part of Bendy and the Ink Machine was released 5 years after the success of its predecessor, and surprisingly it is even more loved by the puzzle and horror fans than the first part. On Steam it is close to an overwhelmingly positive title, and that is a thing you cannot ignore. Here you will play as Audrey as she explores the depths of a creepy animation studio that's gone completely mad, just like your alcoholic Uncle Steve who believes that Earth is in the shape of a vodka bottle. Yeah, flat earthers are such a thing of the past. Anyway, he will combat ink-tainted enemies, solve puzzles, and evade an ever-lurking ink demon while seeking your way back to the real world. You never know who or what is going to be around the next corner in this crazy realm of shadows and ink. Like in the first part, you will have to discover the truth, escape the studio, and above all, fear the ink demon, and survive. A wonderful game for your spooky evenings. Lost in Random. This is a gothic fairy tale inspired action adventure where every citizen's fate is determined by a roll of the dice. That may sound as a very random thing, and believe you me, it is, but around 90% of positive reviews are here for a reason. So you will step into a beautiful and haunted wonderland where you must venture through the 6 twisted realms of random, each with its own maddening set of rules. Help its unpredictable inhabitants, save your sister, well, or mine, I don't mind, and discover a twisted tale in the process. Basically, if you enjoy Tim Burton's creations, this game may be a real spoon of potato salad for you, because it definitely draws inspiration from Burton's works. The game has an interesting story with motivational moments you can relate to, nice humor but a bit clunky combat, and it's really short. Also, people on Steam are warning players that if you complete a chapter, you can't go back to it ever again. So if you're hunting for achievements, do it in the first try. Aliens Fireteam Elite. Have you ever wanted to be a protagonist in the Alien movie? Well, I doubt that, I really do. And if yes, what is wrong with you? Anyway, here, after so many fear-infused hours in alien isolation, you can finally get some revenge on these terrifying creatures. You will kill hundreds of them, so it's nothing like the movies. Although it's really fun to play if you have a friend or two. You can play in single player as well, but I assure you that if you want full experience, you will have to find some friends. I know that may be mission impossible, but you can try anyway. You don't need real friends, all you need is some Discord channel with the same-minded people. So here you'll be exploring some friendly planet filled with friendly fauna and live in harmony all together. Except you don't. This game is a carnage where you will have to battle through hordes of different types of xenomorph, customize your character and gear, and level up as you try to contain this ever-growing threat. I especially like the diversity of enemies in this game. They really took their time to create some nasty monsters. The game itself is basically Left 4 Dead just with aliens. I think it's great, and 81% of Steam reviews are also positive. Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition. This game reminds me of Witcher, but for a younger or, less brutal audience, because it has somewhat similar battle mechanics, open world full of monsters, many dialogues, third-person view and so on. But here you will not find any gore, twisted creepy quests, splattering blood fountains or any nudity. Redhead will never show what she's hiding. Here you will get no love affairs, no hot scenes by the waterfall, just robot dinosaurs and indigenous people. I played about 30 hours of this game a few years ago on my PlayStation. I had a great time, but I never finished it because I encountered a difficulty spike and I couldn't play anymore without loading a save game that was an hour ago. And I had no intention to do that. So be careful of the places named the Cauldron. Make sure your character level is appropriate before entering inside. The Flame in the Flood. This is a roguelike river journey through the backwaters of a forgotten post-apocalyptic America, where you can forage, craft, and occasionally evade predators. Well, the last part will be harder to do. I was eaten by a wolf countless times here, so basically you will take the role of a delicious snack with no desire to be tasted. Just be sure that you are into roguelike games, that you have stable mental health, and few deaths here and there will not make you rage quit and uninstall. The Flame in the Flood was created by famous developers who previously worked on BioShock, Halo, Penis Doctor Simulator and Guitar Hero. Well, honestly, I'm not sure about that third one, but other games are definitely legit. So here you'll travel by foot and by raft down a procedurally generated river as you scrounge for resources, craft tools, remedies, evade the vicious wildlife, and most importantly, stay ahead of coming rains. Flood is even in the name of the game. God of War. Here you play as Kratos, a man who now lives in the realm of Norse gods and monsters. It is in this harsh, unforgiving world you must fight to survive, and teach your son to do the same. So to say short, he will slay the whole pantheon of pre-Viking gods and creatures, because why not? You are awesome and they suck. This version has some nice upgrades compared to the PlayStation version. For example, here you'll enjoy true 4K resolution with unlocked frame rates. I can already smell your computer's fear because you may smell him burning. You will also get higher resolution shadows, improved screen space reflections, ultra-wide screen support, and so on. Game also supports DualShock controllers. TitanFall 2 Ultimate Edition. If you don't know what TitanFall is, you may think that this is only a multiplayer battle royale of some sort, but it is not. The game actually features a very nice, although really short single-player campaign packed with action and inventive twists. Here you play as militia rifleman stranded behind enemy lines who encounters a veteran Titan. You must work together to uphold a mission you were never meant to carry out. And of course, in TitanFall 2 there is a multiplayer portion of the game with fast-paced, first-person action with Titans and deadly pilot abilities. This version of the game includes all the deluxe and jump starter content, which includes new Titans, warpaint, weapons, tokens, and even more, and this price is more than great. The Wolf Among Us. This is a gritty, violent and mature thriller based on the award-winning Fables comic books. You'll discover that a brutal, bloody murder is just a beginning where every decision can have enormous consequences. And it's not only what you choose to do will affect your story, but when you choose to do it as well. You don't need to know anything about the comics this game is based on, because events in this story are set before the events seen in the first book. And this game gives you an option to beat up practically anyone you don't like. Sadly, you can't import that energy-sucking coworker of yours in this game, but hey, you can beat him up in real life instead. I mean, if you are stronger than him. If not, just smile and blame your genes. The Shore. I have played this game while it was still in development, and I was really impressed by the grand scale of some creatures and entities that roam this Lovecraftian world. And by saying Lovecraftian, I really mean it. You will literally encounter Cthulhu himself. So basically The Shore is a game about the mystery of the unknown set on a forbidden island filled with horrors. He will take control of Andrew, a father searching for his lost daughter, and while doing the searching part you will awaken a cosmic horror or two. Or, you know, 4 or 7, this game is filled with them. Although keep in mind that it is not flawless. It has some bugs, some invisible walls, and terrible combat. Although fighting is not the main aspect of The Shore, that's for sure. Anyway, for this price I can really recommend this game if you like dark stories, Lovecraftian worlds, your mother-in-law, and creepy vibes in general. Also, it has photorealistic graphics and looks amazing. Steamworld Dig 2. Game takes you on a mining adventure forged in Metroidvania flames. When an old trading town is struck by mysterious earthquakes, it's up to you, a lone steamboat, along with your unlikely companion, to uncover what trembling terrors lies beneath. And you know what you will uncover deep below?
Your fat mama snoring.
Oh come on, no, it's a secret and you will have to discover it by yourself. So you will dig your way underground and explore vivid worlds riddled with treasure, secrets and deadly traps. Fight dangerous enemies at every turn of the underworld, including shadowy creatures and the haunted remains of an ancient electrical threat. Well, this game is obviously story-rich, and that is awesome. Death in the Water 2. I've been eyeballing this game for a long time now. It looks like a very nice shooter game set in an original underwater environment. Here you will dodge and carve your way through swarms of terrifying sea creatures, controlled by a vicious, giant, mind-controlling kraken that haunts your every move. You will scavenge for hidden treasure to unlock weapons and upgrades, but the environment of this game will make sure that every dive reveals a new nightmare. As you investigate ruins, wrecks and reefs, the tension escalates. The marine life mirrors real behavior, with sharks and creatures remaining passive unless provoked. So don't splash the water and don't pretend to be a seal. Honestly, this advice is legit not only in this game, but also in real life, except if you are attending a gathering of people who pretend to be seals, which is a very popular thing in Estonia, for example. I'm not joking. So the game features a campaign, also survival and free roam modes. People on Steam are saying that this game is very detailed and is suitable for almost every first-person shooter horror fan. The only bad thing is, if you get motion sickness easily, then avoid. Returnal. This is an incredibly beautiful action roguelite bullet hell. Here, after crash landing on a weird shape-shifting world, you must search through the barren landscape of an ancient civilization for your escape. All alone you find yourself fighting for survival until death. Yours of course, again and again. When you are defeated, you are forced to restart this journey every time you die. The fun thing is that you'll discover that just as the planet changes with every cycle, so do the items at your disposal. Every loop offers new combinations, empowering you to push your boundaries and approach combat with a different strategy each time. In other words, this is roguelike, but it's not boring at all. Game is still very expensive, but if you want something brainless and beautiful, you know, look at the mirror. Anyway, jokes aside, this is truly beautiful brainless bullet hell, although system requirements are quite high, so be sure you have them above minimum. Fallout 4. Here you can play from first or third-person perspective. You can take items that lie around and roam across a big open world in search of adventure, absolutely ignoring the main quest and story. So basically it evokes, at least for me it did, the same feeling of freedom and exploration as the Elder Scrolls games. The main difference, of course, is the setting. Fallout 4 is a post-apocalyptic sci-fi game. It's filled with mutants and creepy facilities to explore. You can also join various factions, and that will immensely influence the outcome of the story. Sadly, they don't have a potato salad faction you could join. That is a shame. The game, along with the third Fallout game, has only one really annoying feature. In both cases, I finished the game thinking that I have like 10 or more hours of gameplay left, and it ended absolutely unexpectedly and way too fast. So if you decide to play Fallout 4, keep that in mind. Roam around, do some side quests, do not rush the story. All three games, I mean third Fallout, Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4 are great games. You have all my recommendations. High on Life. Here you and a team of charismatic talking guns must answer the hero's call. You will become the deadliest intergalactic bounty hunter the cosmos have ever seen. Game may look like it's oriented to a younger audience, but it's actually the opposite. Drugs, sex, cursing and gore is the very foundation of this game. So here you'll travel to a variety of biomes and locations across the cosmos. Go up against the nefarious evil boss and his gang of goons, collect loot and meet unique characters. You will navigate dynamic and changing worlds that range from a jungle paradise to a city built inside an asteroid. Complete hunter challenges, meet weird, fun and hilarious characters, collect an array of alien technology, and so on. People on Steam are saying that the game is very fun, but a bit too short for its price. It's only about 8 hours long. Titan Souls. The game is like a boss battle bonanza, and you are the brave little hero taking on these giant normos bad boys. So prepare for some epic battles that'll test your skills, reflexes and patience. It's a Souls-like game, so lots and lots of patience. The game is packed with 20 colossal titans, each with its own unique and challenging boss fight. You'll be like,
20 titans? That's more boss battles than I have fingers.
well, at least some of you would say that. So shout out to you, my fingerless friend. Now subscribe, use something else for this task. Titan Souls typically takes around 4 to 6 hours to complete, depending on your skill level. Although if you are like me, a bit slow with these kind of games, it probably will take longer. Way longer. Minute of Islands. Here you are, a skilled tinkerer living with your family on an archipelago once inhabited by an ancient race of inscrutable giants. Their mysterious but vital machines festering in the underbelly of the island must be kept going, or an almost forgotten threat will swallow all. You vow to restore the hidden engines in time, but is this truly what you need? With your powerful Omni-Switch, you go through story-based environmental puzzles and platform gameplay until you will regain control over the giants' machines. People on Steam are saying that the art direction is absolutely amazing, but also warn you that the game leaves a lot of loose ends after it ends. And don't play this game if you are sad or depressed, it's not for you. Also, you can try the demo version for free. Doom. The most famous first-person shooter was reborn in 2016, and since then it holds the overwhelmingly positive reviews not only on Steam but in our hearts as well. Here you'll encounter relentless demons, destructive guns and fast fluid movement. Whether you are obliterating demon hordes in the single-player campaign or competing against your friends in multiplayer, people on Steam are saying that every priest will approve this game. You know, eradicating demons is a holy deed in every religion.
Except if you worship Satan.
Yeah, I can see the flaw of my idea now. ID Software should create a game where humans are defending from angel invasion as well.
Don't drink beer, it's a sin.
They would say, and then you could just shoot them. I would definitely play that. 8-bit Hordes. Basically, this is a Warcraft 3 if it would be made using the Minecraft engine. Here you'll find two factions, the Dark Orcs and their undead friends versus those annoying humans, dwarves, elves and all that puny stuff in general. You will collect resources, build up and defend your base, amass your army of evil or, you know, pathetic good, and ultimately crush your opponents. Game offers 24 offline campaign missions, 12 co-op missions to play with your mother-in-law, and 10 multiplayer maps that support up to 8 trolls online, literally and figuratively. AI is present as well. It has multiple difficulty options, also it can play in a team with you or destroy you. Game is easy to understand and is really user-friendly. If you like RTS games, there is no doubt that you may like this one as well. So to spice up your curiosity, I will tell you that here you can kill with your thoughts. That should really grab your attention. If it grabs somewhere else, call the police. Inkulinati is an ink-based strategy game straight from medieval manuscripts, where a thought can be deadlier than a sword. You will take your turn in Inkulinati duels filled with unexpected tactical depth and humor.
Yeah, fart humor, very funny, haha.
Shut up, that is always funny. You'll embark on an ever-changing journey, build your own bestiary, defeat medieval superstars and collect perks to unleash special powers. And now it's the time when you must subscribe. It's the law, I have nothing to do with that. The penalty of not subscribing to my channel is a ban from Boobhala after you die. It's terrible, I know, so I guess you have to subscribe. Close to the sun. It's 1897. Deep in international waters, the Helios Station stands still. Born out of Nikola Tesla's vision, the Helios Station serves as a haven for the greatest scientific minds, an unbound utopia for research, independent from the state and isolated from the gaze of society, free to push the boundaries of matter and time. So you will step aboard the Helios in search of your sister, and you will quickly discover that something went wrong. Grand halls stand empty and the stench of rotting flesh lingers in the air.
But why? Tell me why.
Well, because there are bodies on the ground, rotting. Yeah, when you see that, it can ring a bell in your mind that it might not be the usual state of this beautiful place. Or is it? That's what you have to find out.
Thank you for watching, have a nice day and I'll see you next time, bye. Subscribe to my channel or no potato salad for you.